Hey kids, do you like the Spider-Mans? Because Hasbro just released previews for their Spider-Man Homecoming toy line, and it may offer some hints as to where in the MCU this timeline will take place. This crew's got karate chop action! This is Screen Junkies News. Spider-Man Homecoming doesn't come out until July 7th, but Hasbro is ready to excite kids of all ages with their toy tie-ins. Yesterday, they tweeted some fantastic plastic surprises, including a closer look at Vulture and Spider-Man with guns he will probably never actually use in the film. But most surprising and adorable is the homemade Spider-Man, complete with sweatsuit, ski mask, and goggles. The look is similar to what we saw in the clip released last December, where Happy Hogan surprises Peter Parker with a little upgrade. The clip makes it seem like it might just be the wing bats with the web wings, but it could also be the Stark-approved suit that we saw in Civil War. This places Homecoming potentially before the events of Civil War, or at least some part of the film before. We're gonna take a closer look at that, but first, we wanna offer big thanks to our friends at Atom Tickets for sponsoring today's Screen Junkies news episode. Atom Tickets is a free mobile ticketing app that makes going to the movies easy. With the app, you can pre-order tickets and snacks and skip all the lines. After this episode, download the app or go to atomtickets.com and use the code ScreenJunkies to get $5 off your next movie, or just check out the link in the description below. With me to talk about timelines and toy lines, Dan Merle.
Hello.
Jonathan London.
Hiya.
All right, guys. So what do we think this means? Does this affect where we think the movie takes place, or is this just a flashback, flash forward, or just giving the people what they need?
I don't think it takes place where the movie is. We know that this is taking place heavily in Peter Parker's high school. We know from the trailers that he's watching the events that have happened in Civil War on YouTube, which I think is a great touch. So I think that we may have a glance at, or if there's something that appears in a movie for 5 seconds, they're gonna make a toy out of it. That's just how it works. I remember when I was a kid, the Batman '89 toys, there was a toy for Bob the Goon, which is like, you know, Joker's guy that has 3 lines.
He was his number one, man.
He was his number one guy.
He was the number one guy.
It doesn't matter how. There's toys for things that I had a Star Trek toy for a deleted scene from Star Trek Generations. If it's in the movie, there's gonna be a toy.
They did that in Force Awakens too.
Yeah.
You know, so I'll buy all the Spider-Man toys. But I'm gonna say that I think a portion of Homecoming is going to take place prior to Civil War and then after Civil War, and so I think Peter's going to have to be dealing with becoming a hero. They're probably not going to rehash the whole Uncle Ben thing again, but
How many times can one man die?
I love that story, but I'm okay with it not being on screen again. And then I think we're going to have Civil War fit somewhere in the end of the first act, beginning of second act-ish. And then you're going to see Peter Parker as we know him, and we'll continue to know him through the MCU. The Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies had a lot of months in between. We saw Peter in the first one graduate high school, go on to college. Those worked fine. Nobody blinked. I think we're going to have the same thing.
Well, what do we think about the way the toys look? I mean, I thought the Vulture toy in particular, because we don't know that much about Michael Keaton's character. That looks rad. Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, Dan, thoughts as you squint?
I mean, looks a little Stark techie.
He looks like Forlom from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, a little bit.
He looks like Forlom.
A little bit. Yeah, no, it's a more, that's what the MCU has kind of been doing with their villains and their heroes, is it's a bit of a more grounded look than, you know, I'm glad it's not the old man in a leotard that was, you know, you can't do that was in the comics.
Remember everybody, all the fans wanted Ben Kingsley, and then there was that rumor that for Spider-Man 4 they were going to have Anne Hathaway be the Vultress.
I didn't know that. Oh. Yeah. But she's already been Catwoman.
Never gonna have it. Yeah, well, she ended up getting Catwoman, so she did get her superhero movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was may or may not have been a long time rumor / behind the scenes fact.
Yeah.
Well, our girl Charlie Feldman, who's over here on socials, she said something great before we started the show, which is the Peter Parker sort of homemade suit is baby's first cosplay.
gotta give the kids an inroad. Gotta give a gateway costume drug.
Remember how many Matt Murdock's you saw at like Comic-Con last summer? I think that can be like the new Matt Murdock this summer. Is going to be that, or the Harley Quinns. We saw a ton of those because all you need is like a jacket and a bat. Negans too.
Negan, a lot of Negans.
Negan's
So
a lot
many
easier to
Negans.
do.
So many Negans.
This
Here-
is that.
Yeah, but
good
what's cool about
cosplay
this
aspect.
is it's it's a hoodie, it's a red face mask, and it does look very homemade. And I think I love that. I like the safety goggle aspect to it.
That's very Scarlet Spider-esque.
Exactly. The colors are in very
Yeah, the
good.
colors. And but keep in mind also, we saw this briefly in Civil War.
Yeah.
When they were looking at the video clips. Now, they couldn't mass market a huge line of Spider-Man toys for Civil War, I think because they were marketing every other character in the MCU for Civil
Every
War.
other character, but it was Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, exactly. Except for Black Widow, because no one will apparently ever buy a Black Widow toy if you ask Marvel.
Right. Why would
But
why would a boy want to play with a girl
with
doll?
the girl doll, exactly. Dumb.
Give it a few years, they'll want to play.
So it could even be that this early suit doesn't even appear in the movie. They're just like, well, hey, we didn't get it the first time around. Now we got our own Spider-Man movie. We can sell 80 Spider-Mans.
There
sell
might be
all
a
the
scene
Spider-Mans.
where Peter opens his closet and they can make a toy for each of those
Oh.
outfits.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
Exactly.
The other thing that they did is they did play sets. Play sets, which are woefully underrepresented. I
Yes.
mean, play sets are the coolest. And it's like a whole play set of queens, which I just think is phenomenal. Charlie, you're also a big fan of a play set, are you not?
Oh my God, my brother had the play sets, but I would definitely steal them from time to time.
Was there a favorite toy when you guys were growing up? Is there any toy that you hope they sort of replicate in this new Hasbro Spider-Man series?
Well, when I was growing up, I had first I had Castle Grayskull, which was not a good play set. It was literally just a molded piece of plastic that you opened up and there was nothing inside.
It had a
It was
snake
the
pit,
inside
though.
of a plastic.
Remember the snake pit and the goo you could put in it?
Oh, well, that was a much more
was a
advanced
much
Castle
more advanced
Grayskull.
Castle
Mine was just
Grayskull.
literally a piece of plastic.
Yeah.
But it was so cool. Batman Forever had a Bat Cave that was Wayne Manor on the outside, and then you'd open it up, and it was the Bat Cave. And how cool would that be if you had like maybe not for this movie, but like an Avengers Tower or something
Sure.
that was like Avengers
Yeah.
Tower, and then you open it up and it's all the labs and stuff. And I agree, play sets where I had the bridge from Next Generation play
Yeah.
set.
That's cool.
I had so many, like those are so cool because you get the figures. It's great for the imagination. You can have crossovers. I used to have Batman Star Trek crossovers. It's
Totally.
fun.
I used to play with the Turtle Van. Yeah, like I was a Ninja Turtles fan. So my mom recently was like, Juanito, I'm going to mail you your Ninja Turtles. I was like, oh, she's going to send me like 3 or 4 Ninja Turtle toys. The entire carrying case came with the entire line of the first ones that were made. And I don't know where to put them, but I now have them, and they're awesome. And I may or may not still be playing with them. I was a big Spider-Man fan, but those original TMNT toys were mine. What I want to see out of this one is I want to see the return of the Spider Buggy, Spider-Man's dune buggy that would go
Yes.
up the walls. I want to see that, or maybe a Spider-Ham toy would be a lot of fun.
Well, but here's a question. How old is he in this? Because can he drive yet? I don't know. Charlie, what do you know?
So what I know is a lot of our viewers at home had a lot of amazing toys growing up. Mike Farrisee had the Indiana Jones Well of the Souls playset. Was that a
know
thing?
that.
Yeah, that was
Oh
a
my
thing.
God!
It was
Your
awesome.
house is the coolest house
Came
in
with
the
the snakes.
neighborhood.
I
Well
remember
done.
that thing.
And then Rex Overdrive had an Ivan Ooze action figure from the 1995 motion picture Power Rangers the movie.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And what else we got? And then Greg Dalton had the Ghostbusters Firehouse, which is the one I would steal from my
yes.
brother.
That's
so.
very cool. That even got a shout out from Mitch in the behind the camera. He was like, "Yeah, that's what's up." I can say that one of my saddest things was I didn't have a lot of play sets, but I had all of Voltron. But you could fire the arms, and you would like get cat heads sort of scattering across the floor, and I always lost them.
No.
So R.I.P. my poor Voltron.
That was pre-eBay. I need to buy a
could
red cat head.
I know, it was green. It was green. It was the green one that was always like headless and poor amputee.
Wow.
So, Charlie, what are people saying about the timeline? Do they think that this is going to factor in?
I think most people are just worried that this would spoil anything. I don't think anyone wants to be spoiled right
Yeah,
now.
of course.
And they're looking forward to it. It's going to be a really fun movie regardless.
Well, we were talking before the show started about John Watts, who directed Homecoming and is sort of an unknown quantity because he's done Cop Car and Clown, but not giant films. I gotta say, I rewatched the trailer right before we started, and I think this movie is going to be exceptional.
I hope so. I mean, Spidey has had a rough. Spidey went from the top to the bottom pretty quick. I mean,
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2, one of the best superhero movies ever made. Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3 got
one of
hit
the
with.
not so good ones.
Spider-Man 3 came out about because the writer's strike happened at the same time. They couldn't rework that script, and that they were not going to give the filmmakers another year. So Sony wanted to release the movie when they released it. They needed another year. They were shooting while they were trying to write. It was what we got.
Yeah.
But I still kind of prefer it to the Amazing Spider-Man ones, which felt
The whole
like
Garfield, great actor wasted on.
I think the whole
subpart
team is
movies.
talented.
Emma
It
Stone,
just-
their chemistry is incredible.
Yeah.
And Mark Webb, if you had shown me 500 Days of Summer and then said, guess what? This is coming next, I
Yeah.
would not have believed
He's
you,
a
but
great
now I
director,
know.
yeah.
Nope.
Well, you guys are going to have to wait until July 7th, 2017 to get to see it. But you know how you can do that? Just make sure you download the Atom Tickets app. Then use the code ScreenJunkies to get $5 off your next trip to the movies. You can always click here for more Screen Junkies news. Make sure you like, subscribe, and let us know which of these toys you are most excited for. Thanks for being with us.